Picture this, you finally found a medication that works wonders for your ADHD, but suddenly it's nowhere to be found. The Vyvanse shortage of 2024 has left millions scrambling for solutions, and millions, including me, struggling in their day-to-day lives. The Vyvanse shortage is a perfect storm of factors. In 2023, Vyvanse went generic, meaning other companies could make their own versions. You'd think this would mean more Vyvanse for everyone, right? Well, not quite. These generic drug makers have run into production delays and problems getting the active ingredient. To make matters worse, restrictions on controlled substances like Vyvanse from the DEA, which is meant to protect citizens, but totally doesn't, limit how much can be made. So, even with the generic versions out there, supply just can't keep up with demand. But what about the brand name version? Well, since Vyvanse went generic, insurance companies won't cover the brand name anymore, even though you can't get the generic. It's a frustrating situation, but don't lose hope. I'm talking to myself mostly. And who am I, by the way? My name is Dr. Salman Aziz Mirza, triple board certified in adult psychiatry, child and adolescent psychiatry, and addiction medicine. And like I said, just give us our f***ing Vyvanse back. The Vyvanse shortage isn't just a matter of supply and demand. There's a bigger player in this game, the Drug Enforcement Administration, or DEA. You see, Vyvanse is a controlled substance, which means the DEA keeps a tight leash on how much can be produced. They set quotas for the active ingredients in Vyvanse and other ADHD meds, and when demand spikes, like it has recently, those quotas can become a real bottleneck. But why the sudden surge in demand? Well, a lot of people have been switching to Vyvanse from other stimulants, and for good reason. Vyvanse is known for its smooth, long-lasting effects and lower risk of misuse compared to other ADHD meds. It's become a go-to choice for many, especially those who've had trouble with side effects or inconsistent results from other meds. The other thing causing the switch to Vyvanse? Well, the Adderall shortage of 2022 and 2023. For more on that, check out the video I made on that via the card above. Thing is, when you've got a bunch of people making the switch to Vyvanse all at once, it puts a serious strain on the supply chain. Manufacturers can only make so much, and with the DEA's restrictions, they can't just ramp up production to meet the growing need. It's a perfect storm of regulatory hurdles and shifting patients' prescriptions. Now, some might argue that the DEA's involvement is necessary to prevent misuse and keep these powerful medications off the streets. And that's a valid point, but when you've got countless individuals with ADHD struggling to get the medication they need to function at their best, it raises questions about whether the current system is working as it should. At the end of the day, we have to remember that the DEA is not a medical agency. It is a law enforcement agency, and well, I defer to NWA about my thoughts regarding the police. So, what can you do if Vyvanse is off the table? Well, there are a few other medication options that might help manage your ADHD symptoms. Let's look at some of the heavy hitters. First up, we've got good old Adderall XR. This is another stimulant medication that's been around for a while. It works similarly to Vyvanse, but the main difference is that it's a mixture of amphetamine salts, while Vyvanse is a prodrug that gets converted into amphetamine in your body. Adderall XR is known for its quick onset and longer duration of action, advertised to last about 6 to 12-ish hours. I often see 6 to 8-ish hours, and that's what I tell my patients to expect. It can be effective for a lot of people, but some folks might find the side effects a bit more intense than with Vyvanse. Next, there's Azstarys. This is a newer option that combines dexmethylphenidate, a stimulant more commonly known as Focalin, with 𝒅𝒏'𝒕, a prodrug that gets converted into dexmethylphenidate. The idea here is that you get a quick boost from the immediate release dexmethylphenidate, followed by a longer lasting effect from the 𝒅𝒏'𝒕. Some people find this combo helps smooth out the ups and downs that can come with other stimulants. Azstarys is what I call the Vyvanse version of Focalin, as it uses the prodrug delivery system. So in some ways, it is the most similar. Another option is Mydayis. This is basically a souped up version of Adderall XR. It uses a 𝒏𝒏 delivery system to give you an immediate release of amphetamine followed by 2 more delayed releases throughout the day. The goal is to provide symptom control for up to 16 hours, which can be helpful for folks who need coverage from morning till night. Since this is an amphetamine, it would be the most similar in how it works to Adderall XR and then Vyvanse as well. Now, these are just a few of the alternatives out there. There are other stimulants like Ritalin, Concerta, and Focalin, as well as non-stimulant options like Strattera, Intuitive, and newer 𝒘𝒄𝒄𝒄. The effectiveness of these meds can vary from person to person, so it's important to work closely with your doctor to find the right fit. But here's the thing, while these alternative medications can be super helpful for a lot of people, they're not always a perfect substitute for Vyvanse. Each drug has its own unique properties and potential side effects. Some people might find that Adderall XR feels a little bit too jittery compared to the smooth, sustained focus they get with Vyvanse. Others might prefer the quicker onset of Azstarys or the extended duration of Mydayis. At the end of the day, finding the right medication is a very individual process. What works wonders for your best friend might make you feel like a zombie. And with the Vyvanse shortage throwing a wrench in the works, a lot of folks are having to get creative and explore options they might not have considered before. But you know what? Medication is just one piece of the puzzle. There's a whole world of non-pharmaceutical strategies out there for managing ADHD symptoms. From lifestyle hacks to therapy and coaching, there are a ton of ways to take control of your ADHD without relying solely on meds. Let's explore. When it comes to managing ADHD, medications like Vyvanse can be a total game changer. But it's not the only tool in the toolbox, my friend. There's a whole world of non-pharmaceutical strategies out there that can help you stay focused, organized, and on top of your game. First up, let's talk about the power of routine. When you've got ADHD, your brain can feel like a pinball machine, bouncing from one thought to the next. But by creating a consistent daily schedule, you can give your brain the structure it craves. Wake up at the same time every day, block out specific chunks of time for work or study, and make sure you're getting enough sleep at night. It might sound simple, but trust me, it can make a huge difference. Another big one is exercise. When you get your body moving, it releases all sort of feel-good chemicals in your brain, like dopamine and norepinephrine. These are the same neurotransmitters that ADHD meds like Vyvanse work to boost. So by getting regular exercise, you're basically giving your brain a natural dose of focus-enhancing goodness. Plus, it's a great way to burn off that extra energy and restlessness that often comes with ADHD. Mindfulness and meditation are also powerful tools. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Sitting still and focusing on my breath with ADHD? Yeah, right. But hear me out. Mindfulness isn't about clearing your mind of all thoughts. It's about learning to observe your thoughts without getting caught up in them. And with practice, it can help you become less reactive to distractions and more able to stay focused on the task at hand. There are also tons of practical strategies you can use to make your environment more ADHD friendly. Things like using noise-canceling headphones to block out distractions, breaking big tasks down into smaller, more manageable steps, and using visual cues like color-coded folders or sticky notes to stay organized. It's all about finding what works for you in your unique brain. Now, I'm not saying these strategies are a magic cure-all. ADHD is a complex condition, and what works for one person might not work for another. But by incorporating some of these non-medication approaches into your daily life, you can start to build a toolkit of coping strategies that can help you thrive, with or without meds like Vyvanse. What matters is trying stuff out and keeping what works for you while throwing out what doesn't. Oh, and one more thing. Don't be afraid to reach out for support. Whether it's talking to a therapist, joining an ADHD support group, or just venting to a friend who gets it, having a solid support system can make all the difference. Because at the end of the day, you're not in this alone. There's a whole community of folks out there who are navigating the same challenges and cheering each other on. Not having Vyvanse is tough, but don't lose hope. Work closely with your doctor to explore medication alternatives like other stimulants or non-stimulants, and lean heavily into non-medication strategies, exercise, routines, environments optimized for focus. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Not having access to Vyvanse does come with some risks. For some people, ADHD symptoms can really interfere with daily life when they're not properly managed. You might find it harder to focus at work or school. You might be more forgetful or disorganized. Your relationships might feel the strain of your symptoms. These are real concerns, and it's important to take them seriously. But here's the thing. You're not powerless in the situation. Yes, the shortage is beyond your control, but how you respond to it, how you adapt and adjust your ADHD management plan, that's all within your power. You've got a whole arsenal of strategies at your disposal. You've got a medical team ready to support you. And most importantly, you've got your own resilience and determination. So, take a deep breath, remind yourself that you've navigated challenges before, and you'll navigate this one too. Reach out for help when you need it. Be patient with yourself as you figure out new routines and coping mechanisms. And above all, don't give up. You've got this. You've got this. You're stronger than any shortage, and you'll come out the other side with a whole new set of skills for managing your ADHD. And hey, Who knows? Maybe this shortage will end up being a blessing in disguise. Maybe it'll push you to discover new strategies that work even better for you than Vyvanse ever did. Maybe it'll be the catalyst for some really positive changes in your life. Stranger things have happened, right? The bottom line is you're not alone in this. There's a whole community of people with ADHD who are right there with you, figuring it out day by day. Lean on each other, share your struggles and your triumphs, and remember, no matter what curveballs life throws your way, you've got the strength and the smarts to knock them out of the park. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you learned a little something. Let me know some of your favorite tips and techniques for managing an ADHD life without your medications, or whatever your strategies you use when you do have the meds. We could all benefit from it, so make sure to drop some in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your family and friends. Until next time, be safe and be well.